Hello, everybody. I'm very honored today to have one of my social media inspirations here on the show, Averie Bishop. Averie is a lot of things. She is a pageant queen. She is a social media rock star. She is a first-gen law school graduate, soon to be lawyer. And most importantly, she is right here on the show, here to talk to us about social media, mental health, and the law. Averie, thank you so much for coming on. And please give us your sort of version of the introduction, because I'm sure I missed many things.
Oh gosh, yes. Okay, thank you for having me. I'm so excited we finally got this to work. Hi to all of you virtually. My name is Averie. I just finished law school at SMU here in Dallas, and I am studying for the bar exam, which I will sit for here in Texas in July. I downloaded TikTok, oh gosh, maybe 2 years ago, and it has been such a whirlwind since. I make content at the beginning really focused on my experience as a woman of color in the legal industry, and now it's really all about, talking about popular culture in the law, talking about my personal experience of what it's like to juggle being in law school, managing a business, managing my nonprofit, and also competing at Miss Texas. So in my free time, which I do have free time, I take naps, I love to cook. I have a vegetable garden in my backyard. I have a wonderful dog named Winston, who is an Aussie Doodle. All right, pass the mic.
Winston, Aussie Doodle. I have two Cavapoos, so the Doodle cousins can hang out someday in person, maybe.
Yes, they should. If we ever cross paths in real life, which I hope happens.
Yeah, I hope so too. If you're ever in California, so bar prep, catch me up. I've been through it. A lot of people have been through it. Some people are maybe not looking forward to it. You are doing Themis, is that correct?
Correct.
Right. So I did Barbary, can't relate, but I mean, I'm sure it's similar. Catch us up. How's it going? How does it feel?
The memes are overflowing. So many. So many memes in my DMs and my text messages and my email chains from my professors. They are truly getting me through bar prep. I am very lucky to be able to, go through bar prep without any challenges. Before I entered law school, I was struggling to pay rent and afford food and pay for gas. But now I'm in a position where I get to study for the bar exam, and it is my full-time job every day. That's not the case for many students. Right now, I'm also very lucky that they actually sponsored my program. I did not have to pay for a single cent. So I don't take it for granted. Every day I wake up and I do think to myself, oh my God, it's 8 a.m. I have to talk about real property and write a 45-minute essay about landlord-tenant relationships. But at the end of the day, I always look back and I think to myself, I'm very, very proud and very grateful to be in a position where...
Are you doing anything outside of the course fundamental sort of outlines? Are you creating your own flashcards and whatnot, or
I'm doing I do handwritten flashcards for pretty much all the questions. Yeah, handwritten. I know. Ooh, old school. Talk about 1970s. No, I'm writing my note cards, and I'm also flipping through, I think it's called the critical pass flashcards that are pre-made flashcards, and then I'm also doing additional multiple choice questions with Adaptibar.
Adaptibar. I've heard a lot of good things about Adaptibar. Yeah,
That's it.
The idea of Adaptibar, if I remember correctly, is that they will modify the multiple choice questions they give you based on what you need most help on, right? It's it adapts to what you need. That's smart. I love that. Okay, let's talk about the way we kind of met here, which is through social media.
Yes.
But I want to hear more about, you are one of my sort of senseis, big sisters, so to speak, in this industry. And tell me, what got you why, you said 2 years ago around then, that is that you downloaded TikTok. What was it that drew you to it? Why did you decide to begin? Walk me through that process of jumping in.
So it was, imagine, 2019. Averie enters her first semester of law school. She gets the worst grades possible. No, that's an exaggeration.
Okay.
I got straight B's. And for me, when I came from undergrad, I essentially had a 3.98 GPA. I had published papers and international fellowships and did just amazing work. And I felt so fulfilled because of my academic success. Then I went to law school, and then I got a 2.7 for my first semester. When you enter law school your first year, I'm sure many of you experienced this, where at least my school was very adamant about, if you are top 10%, you will get the job you want and you will get the money you want when you graduate. And if you're not top 10%, you're not going to be that. You're not going to have that same success. So in my mind, when someone tells me that, I internalize it. And at the end of that first semester, I was like, be here. and I considered dropping out for a very long time. So in that moment, then comes the pandemic, back to back. So I got the crappiest grades on the face of the planet. Then we were locked down for months. Spring semester, that second semester of my first year, really out of a need for connection with people who were kind of going through the same thing I was, really questioning my self-worth, really questioning my self-identity, really questioning my purpose, and then really out of boredom, because of the fact that we were locked in our homes for so long, I downloaded TikTok during what I call the TikTok Renaissance period, and that was the pandemic. So I at first was hesitant to download it because I was convinced that TikTok is only for teen-year-olds doing fun little throw it back dances.
And just to interrupt real quick, did you do any social media work before this? Like on Insta or any sort of...
Nothing whatsoever.
Right, okay.
I had an Instagram account, which I periodically posted on. I posted photos of my dog and various other, day-to-day life things of Averie Bishop. But I never had the intention when downloading Instagram or TikTok of, I want to be an influencer and I want to make money from it, I just, again, downloaded TikTok for the need of a community and support, and second, out of boredom and a desire for a creative outlet. I've always been a creative person. I was a musical theater major originally in college, and I was like, law school is way too serious. People are taking themselves way too seriously. People need to take the sticks out of their butt. So I downloaded TikTok.
Agreed.
My first couple of videos, my first few videos was really me trying to get out all of the frustration about the legal system. And I made the dumbest, stupid comedic skits about just lawyers, and those are the videos that just took off. And from there, 6 months in, I had grown to about, I would say, 100,000 followers, and I started making more educational and informative based content.
And one thing led to another. You are now this icon living on all social media platforms. I mean, do you think that you would have entered social media at all without TikTok?
I feel when you have a good energy about something and you're good at it. I think I'm really good on video. I'm not good at still photo. I'm not on the Instagram I don't think I look good in still photos and promoting things. I feel that I shine more when it's video because my personality can come through a little bit more rather than still photos. So I truly believe that the reason why I've had such success and why I brought in so much revenue partnering with companies is because short video is the new way of modern advertising. Still photos are being left behind on Instagram, and now it's all about being relatable through less than 20-second videos.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. At a high level, it makes me wonder, and this will be a little philosophical, but this is what I've noticed is I feel like short form video is closer to what a human relationship kind of is compared to a photo, right? I mean, why would I look at a photo with some text if I could look at someone's face talking to me about the same exact thing? It makes it that much more relatable, and I feel like that's given TikTok a huge competitive advantage.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. I also think that when it came with Instagram, now we're just going down a social media rabbit hole. But when it came to Instagram, there were the photos and then just the long-winded captions sometimes.
Right.
And with video, I feel that video also takes less energy. It takes less mental burden to understand what you're trying to portray and not have to read, 4 to 5 different paragraphs. What you see within the 4 frames of the 15-second video is what you're going to get. And you can get all of that within just a very brief...
I pour one out for our attention spans because in either event, be it a 10-second video or not being able to read a 3-paragraph caption on Instagram, that's very lamentable, but nonetheless, it's the world we're in. So... When did you sort of shift your perspective on your content creation from a creative outlet of expression and in some sense it sounds like maybe not advocacy but certainly self-expression to more of a business and this could be something more combining the creative expression with a sort of business mindset?
I want to say it was probably, I won't say 6 months, probably about 10 months into my really hit the fan when I went to Las Vegas the summer of 2020. 2021. Oh yeah, it was lit. And at that time I had maybe like 300,000 followers. I didn't really have a lot of current paid advertisement clients. At that point I might have made about like $1,000 10 months in at 300,000 followers. And when I went to the Vegas TikTok meetup, we were all in the pools, we were having margaritas, and I was just surrounded by incredible lawyers, business people who were also social media creators telling me, like hyping me up, you have what it takes to create a brand that is not only profitable, but also not over the top and overwhelming, because sometimes influencers will like do a lot of paid advertisements and their brand will get lost because they're taking on so many paid opportunities. I mean, I would take as many as I want to because you would do it for the bag. I think I needed that push. I needed to hear it from other people to know I can go jump in head first and really focus on getting those lawyer TikTok meetup. That July, I had my biggest partner, which was Microsoft. And that experience was out of nowhere. And I learned a lot from that first really big partnership.
Congratulations, by the way, on all of the success. It's well deserved, it's well earned, and it's also I'll add right here. It's not as easy as I think people make it out to be. Like I definitely, when I entered social media and I saw like, oh, people are dancing and they get like 3 million followers and now they're like super ultra rich. Like it can't, there has to be some money out there. But maybe because the creator economy is just not developed yet. Maybe because there's a lot of competition, maybe because building a brand is very difficult, maybe because engagement rates are very, very important for creators. I think I read a statistic the other week that was saying that only 12% of creators make an annual income of over $50,000. Off the bat, right. So off the bat, right. It's a have and have nots.
Wow.
Right.
Then
it's a
I'm
have
even more blessed to be in this place. Like
many
lucky.
And many I believe even a step further than that, brand deals actually make up the minority of income that most creators are earning revenue from. The top creators nowadays will make their own brands, and that's how they're primarily monetizing. All of this is to say, I'm happy you succeeded. It's not an easy industry to go and monetize in, and something I'm discovering as a creator right now is like we have a really amazing community, and I love them to death.
Wait, hold on, pause. How was your journey in monetization? Because you made a really great, transparent post the other day of how much you've made so far, giving thanks to your community, which I absolutely love. That was fantastic. So
Thank you.
I know that you're also in a place right now where you're not working in the legal industry, so to speak, like at a big law firm, but you started at your own firm. So what has that been like for you? Has it been difficult to monetize? What have you learned?
I appreciate the question. So I did full disclosure, and my chiefs of staff, I have 2 of them who I'm very grateful for, can tell you the same thing. We haven't really been focused on monetization, to be honest.
Sure.
And in many ways, we're grateful and blessed. I'm also burning through my savings, so it's not like I made money, not at all. But like I feel like for me, I was in big law and I had the sort of money and I understood the track. Right now, what's more important to me than going out and seeking out those partnerships, which is important, is the advocacy component and getting our voice out there and building our community. All of that to say that we are very grateful to have a couple of really amazing sponsors. Like Lawline is one of one of my brand partners, and they're amazing. They help me, they gave me a platform to do continuing legal education about mental health in our profession. And just raise awareness, which is incredibly important. And I have a couple of other things in the pipeline that are, hopefully coming together. But it's far and few. I will say it's yeah, exactly. It's far and few between. And certainly I'm focused on creating and sort of pivoting, similar to you, from the creative expression and advocacy component to like, okay, I can do that as well, but let me also try to like, be a little bit of a peacock to brands and like show them like I'm a professional here. Like I'm not just a dude. I mean, I am just a dude with the phone, but they don't need to know that. I'm a dude with the phone with a nice website as well, and a nice media kit, and
Wait,
so.
I want to see your media kit. I want to stock all these things. Is it online for just random people to see, or is it secret?
That's a good suggestion that I should probably have. I should make it public, shouldn't I?
I have mine. So I have a very short version of my brief on my personal website, but I also have like a 5-pager, because sometimes companies come to me and they're like, can you give us every single metric you've ever done across all social media platforms, and can you give us every single past partnership?
It's a good idea.
So yeah, I have a backup like 7-pager, but mine is on my website. I have yours.
It's a good idea.
I'm so interested in seeing that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I'd love any and all coaching, absolutely. And by the way, folks out there, if you need any sort of social media consulting or questions or even mentorship, I believe Averie has a business and or just her existence. And she is very, very helpful and has been very much a resource for me as I've learned and grown as a creator for free and not asking anything. So highly recommend. I want to pivot real quick and ask, so you're doing a lot of things, obviously. You know, you're a law student while doing content creation, which I actually argue is a full-time job, if not more, because it's kind of hard to unplug when your life is broadcasted. You have this necessary sort of, I need to always kind of show something, right? So that there's that component. How do you manage mental health with all of these things? And you're a bit younger than me, so I'd love to hear, I don't know, the sort of younger-ish perspective, because I feel like my generation is like, I don't know, we're left in the dark a little bit, and of course we're not that far in age, but in any event.
I think mental health it's such a personal and intimate journey for every person because there's so many different, the way that you view mental health, the way that you can access and gain resources for mental health. So I'll speak from a very personalized experience. I am obviously Asian American, and in my community, we don't talk about mental health. It doesn't exist. It's looked on as something only weak people. When I was in high school, I definitely developed an anxiety disorder, but it went undiagnosed for a very long time. And now I'm actually on anxiety medication because I, in college, reached out and finally sought help for some of the experiences I was going through. To talk about mental health with my immigrant mother, because she's the one who truly thinks that you need to be independent, you've got to work hard, and to falter or to make a mistake or to have to take a step back and take care of yourself is this testament that you're weak in some sense. So it's been a growth and learning journey to allow myself, to give myself permission, be not okay. And I experienced that very deeply my first year of law school. That first semester, I got very my life where I was on antidepressants. Again, I considered dropping out of law school. I've never talked about this on TikTok. All of these things combined led me to a very dark place in my life that one semester. Fortunately, because I have such a great support network and community on TikTok has been there since the beginning of time, I knew that I had something worth fighting for, and that was me. I was worth fighting for me.
It's very powerful, and thank you for sharing.
Of course,
What do you do now, sort of like actionable steps, you know, like in your day-to-day doing so many things at once? And I can relate to this because I'm handling a lot of different things.
Going too, yeah.
Yeah, and it's as chaotic as it sounds, and not really in a good way for mental health. I'm curious, do you have like a, you know, not even like therapy, but do you have like a sort of daily thing that you do, or like habits that you've built that you found have been helpful?
Yes. Okay. So, do you know what a hot girl walk is?
I've heard.
I'm being so dead ass serious, guys, and I don't mean this in like in a joking manner. Like, go on a hot girl walk, and all of your mental health problems will be resolved. But most recently, after that really hard first semester of law school, I have gone on at least a 4 to 5 mile walk every single day. So that's been about a year and a half. And for me, it's not just going out for a walk to, you know, get physically strong or to feel physically good. I go out and walk for 2 hours and I leave my phone behind. Because that is my time to escape, to be with myself without any sort of distraction, to find clarity, to think about things. I leave my phone at home so often that I purchase like those little nano iPod clip-on things where you put music on it so I can't take my phone with me. Like I'll have music on the little ancient dinosaur MP3 player and I'll leave the phone at home. So that has been such a incredible habit or routine I've implemented to really clear my mind, actions, and really celebrate and give thanks to everything that I have done so far by allowing my body to go outside and to breathe in fresh air about an hour every day. And then second, I see my therapist every week. Once a week. She probably hates me. She wants me to like live my best life. She's just like, Averie, oh my God. So I see her once a week. Before it was kind of like, whenever I know I'm doing a lot and I see my calendar and I'm preparing for a month of a lot of things going on. For example, right now, bar prepping, managing my business, and getting ready for Miss Texas, which is next week. I usually see my therapist more often, but generally I see her every 2 weeks rather than once a week. Those are the two things that I do to really focus on making sure I am.
Yeah, that's amazing. The walking cannot be understated, and I love that you don't bring your phone too, because
Yeah.
I really think that our phones have had a very big hand in increasing anxiety, destroying our attention spans, like distorting our sense of reality. And we've all made it a habit because
Yeah.
it's kind of what our world revolves around. And props to you for going to therapy. I'm sure your therapist does not hate you, presuming you pay the bills, which
Oh,
which
no,
which
he doesn't
which you
hate
probably
me.
do, which
She
you probably
probably
do.
will watch this interview and text me about it tonight. I don't know if it's really. She'll be like, I love. She's my greatest cheerleader. So.
I love that. What advice do you have for people who kind of look to where you are now, both like from a mental health perspective and also law school graduate, which is a very, very big accomplishment? What would you tell them if they asked you, Avery, I really want to go to law school, but I'm also afraid of the pressure. Do you think I can do it? And like, how can I best manage this? Is it walking every day like you do? Is it seeing a therapist? What do I do?
My first piece of advice, just generally about life. You want to go to law school, if you're thinking about taking a big risk or quitting something or pursuing a different path or journey, my advice is always to just do it. Live, laugh, love, right? The little mottos on the t-shirts and the kitchens and the kitchen towels. You have just got to do it. For the longest time, when I was like 6 or 7, I saw the world around me and I knew that I was poor. I knew that my family circumstances were not the best. Jobs. My mom cleaned toilets and worked at a PepsiCo factory. My dad was a school bus driver and was installing air conditioning units in houses that were 5 times the value of our small, measly apartment. And we lived off of food stamps and we didn't have furniture on our floor. So when I was 6, 7 years old, I knew my place. I knew that I was not allowed to dream. I knew I was not allowed to do big things. I knew I was not allowed and I was not capable of becoming what it is that I wanted to be. And at a young age, and to know that at such a young age, you internalize that and it influences the way that your life goes. But in middle school, I took a really big jump. This is so goofy, but I auditioned for my first middle school play when I was in 7th grade because I told myself, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care if I'm poor. I don't care if I was bullied. Brown bag lunch and threw it away into garbage cans. I don't care if the children were calling me chink, which is a racial slur. I'm not gonna let that determine whether or not I'm valued and I deserve to take up space. So that first audition when I auditioned in middle school was that moment where I finally just did it. You just gotta do the damn thing. If you wanna do law school, do the damn thing. If you're interested in starting your own small business but you're scared and intimidated, just do the damn thing. And now I forgot your other question. So I'm gonna finish there.
No, that was wonderful. I wonder if I honestly wonder if you can apply the same thing to mental health, which was sort of the corollary question is what could folks do who are younger, who are very aware of the acute pressures that law school and undergrad, right, and generally our academic environment create. What can they do to better and best prepare themselves?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of my anxiety stems out of the lack of discipline. I always convince myself, I'll take more naps or I'll try to schedule in certain things into my Google Calendar. Maybe that'll alleviate a lot of the stress I'm feeling. But this again goes back to my general advice of you just have to sit down and you have to do your work so that you can open up time in the day for you to focus on yourself, like going on a hot girl walk. So you really, when entering law school, if you're studying for the LSAT, if you're studying for the bar exam, you really have to get into the mentality of you have to do it. You have to do the things you don't want to do in order for you to do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And everyone that we can all find commonality in the fact that every single one of us has to wake up and we have to do things. The beauty of life is that once we get those things out of the way, at the end we can finally spend time with our dogs, our cats. We can go on our hot girl walk with Sasha Fierce and Beyonce. We can go travel the world for a couple of days because we did what we had to do and we did it within the time frame we had to complete it. So I think that's also my general advice for mental health and law school and seeking help when you need it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that you touched on discipline. It's funny because I feel like I actually have the reverse problem of discipline, which is incorporating.
You have too much discipline?
I have too much workaholism. I'll put it that way.
No.
So for me, the thing I've been working on is building in discipline to not work, building in discipline to okay, I could play Halo by myself, a video game, right? And I'll enjoy it. Or I could do it while I'm streaming on TikTok and do two things at once. So my brain's like, let me just do two things at once all the time, because productivity and like output.
Yeah.
And it's part of the mindset that of course has propelled me to whatever, get good grades and like do well at my job, or at least my old job. But for mental health, it doesn't work. It does not scale. So it's like I got to the point where I understood what I needed to do for mental health, and I was building that discipline. And then that's around the time that I quit my job, and then I started advocating for mental health. And then I kind of got like sucked back in of like, oh, now I can make a difference and I love what I'm doing. So let me just push that button a lot. And so I think discipline goes both ways, right? Both in getting the things done that you don't want to do so that you can enjoy the little things, or doing the things that I may not be used to doing and quote unquote don't want to do, like literally playing with my dogs or going on a hot boy walk. Because I literally hot boy walk, absolutely, because I literally need it, and my mental health will suffer if I don't. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I agree. I go through similar waves of really having such an exposed life. So a lot of people know a lot of stuff about me. One of my biggest regrets looking back is like, I wish I had kept certain things of my life more private so that I could have that to myself, so that no one knew or knew the name of, say, like my best friend. I wish I could have kept that to myself. But when it comes to having your life on display constantly, when you're advocating for a particular cause like mental health, it's so easy to be tempted to go, to output, because your heart is in the right place, my heart is in the right place, and we do want to help people, but it's so tempting to be like, we need to post 3 times a day.
Yep.
We need to post on our stories 7 times a day.
Yep.
We need to create like a blog post once a week. No. And the one thing you mentioned about you were twitching and playing video games and talking at the same time.
Right.
I have been there, and I really don't have like a one size fits all solution to it, because sometimes every once in a while it's fine, but you can easily get so caught
overdo
up
it
in doing it often that you forget. You forget to take breaks, or you forget why you do it.
And I just don't do it for myself at all, and you can't pour from an empty cup. And that's very much the problem that I've been facing lately. So I fully agree. I asked this question to every guest on our show. As you know, everyone on this show, at least for this chapter and period of history of this podcast / YouTube interview, they're all lawyers. You are an honorary lawyer. I deem that.
Yeah.
I deem you one. Okay, like it doesn't even matter. Bar results aside, like whatever. You know enough. You know arguably more than many lawyers, and have a lot more perspective, I would argue. So, what would you change if there could be one thing you could change about the legal profession in the U.S.? I asked that because we're both in the U.S. What would you change about it?
Gosh, that's a great question. There's so many things I want to change, but what I can see happening in the next decade, are universities and colleges switching to a 2-year program?
Yes.
With a 1 year or a semester requirement of an apprenticeship rather than a full 3-year program. I was able to complete most of my law school classes a full semester early, and I spent my second semester working. And I thought that was the most brilliant thing I did for myself that the system does not do for students. Oftentimes, a lot of these summer internships, the programs, the big law associate opportunities, a lot of that is very competitive. And sometimes students will get the short end of the stick where they're not paid at all, and they can't afford to support themselves as they go through those programs.
Yeah.
So I can see within the next decade, 2-year program with a semester or 1-year apprenticeship covered and hopefully financed by the university. So then there's not some sort of socioeconomic discrepancy of who gets a paid internship and who does not.
Yeah, and as the one official, at least practicing lawyer right now on this podcast, I will formally say on the record, and I've said this multiple times, I don't believe that law school teaches you functionally anything in order to be an effective practicing lawyer, period.
It does not! No,
I'm sorry, and like I was a top student at the top schools, and I'll look the ABA right in the face when I tell that to them. I'll look every school in the face when I tell that to them. Neither does the bar exam, okay? Because real property has no impact on 99.8% of human beings today, and yet that's what you're requiring us to learn instead of maybe something more helpful like contract law, which everybody's signing these days, or jurisdiction, forum choice clauses, very basic things that are not being properly educated on because the system is so outdated. So I fully agree. I think 2 years, even that's being generous. I would say like 1 year and then a 1-year apprenticeship, but I think we can meet in the middle.
That's asking for too much. We doubt
it.
The legal system moves slowly, Julian. Remember this.
If it even moves. If it even moves.
If it even moves.
if it even moves.
I've seen and looked into a couple. There's maybe only 5 or 6 universities that has a 2-year program called Accelerated. And they don't have a lot of statistics out that kind of show their success rate on the passage of the bar and how well they're employed, etc. So the 2-year program is very new and it's very fresh, but I'm excited to follow along in the next 5 years.
Hopefully, and I mean, voices like you and mine, I hope will propel and spur some action too. The last subject, and I allow every guest to do this as well. If you have any questions for me, you don't have to, but if I'll open the floor, nothing is off limits. If you want to ask me a question, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So now you're in the hot seat. You just started your law firm is based on content creating, working with the creator economy, right?
That's
Something
right.
along the lines of it. Okay. So how's that been going? I'm very interested to learn more because I love the intersection of law and social media, and that was something I was interested in pursuing after the bar as well. So
Yeah.
tell me how it's going, and what's your favorite part, and what you are facing the most challenge with.
Yeah. First of all, I love it. Our law firm is For Creators by Creators PC. You can
Okay.
find us on Instagram, TikTok. I'm just shamelessly plugging us now.
Go,
Or,
yeah.
or you could DM me. I'm the chief partner and one of the co-founders. And first of all, it's been amazing. We have almost 10 clients, all of them content creators / influencers, and they're all just incredible people. I mean, I love creators. Like creators, I think have some of the most interesting sort of levels of courage and confidence and like creative thought. And the things that creators build, I think, are really special. Especially with the community aspect, like we've been discussing. So it's been very fun to practice law again in a context that I think is empowering. To a community that I think needs more help, because I've already seen very quickly that brands out there really don't care at all what they are putting in these agreements and how much it hurts the creator. As long as it's pro-brand, they're going to do it. And so we've already seen some agreements and clauses that are just ridiculous. I mean, things that say like, you're not allowed to do any content creation for a year after this agreement period. It's like, wait, what? Like,
No way they're putting that in contracts.
yeah, they are. There's all sorts of stuff, right? And every single time we review an agreement, we're getting different terms that we're seeing different players try to use. What's exciting to me is that I've connected with a couple of folks who are doing similar work to us, which I think is great because we need more of us out there helping creators. Very few, again, like I said. And so part of the exciting thing for me is the fact that as we scale and our community of creators gets bigger and bigger, we as the law firm, one of the only, I would argue, exclusive law firms to protect content creators, we will become the negotiating lever for the creator community against brands. We will be the ones that can decide what do brands get normally, what is market, what is not. We are going to be the ones that can finally say, this term is outdated, no more, period. And guess what? All of our creators agree, you don't have a choice anymore, brand, because right now, of course, I would argue that brands have a lot more power and leverage than individual creators. And so part of the process for me is also creating this community of creators in an effort to eventually, set the standard to what, we think is equitable. And represent their interests. So it's been a lot of fun. I think you asked about the biggest challenge. I think the biggest challenge so far, honestly, has been it's kind of an unfair answer, but it's getting more clients, in part because our marketing efforts have been awesome, and we're on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. But certainly we're starting off a little bit slower because I have this other company, Nesmo, that's launching on Kickstarter next week, and I'm also doing content creation, as you know, and so spread a little thin. But that's probably the only downside.
Well, I know my law firm, or my previous law firm in New York called Level Up Legal, we are hosting, so last year we had the lawyer social media meetup in Las Vegas. We're announcing this year's one, which will be held in New York, and it's going to be called the Empire State of Law. We're going to be inviting a lot of social media and creators, and it's set for August. I don't even know if I'm allowed to disclose this. I didn't sign an NDA or anything, but I'm the one who's helping plan it. So it's in August. It's in New York. It's called Empire State of Law, and I think it would be a great opportunity to network with creators in the creator economy space, and also other lawyers who are social media creators too. So I think we should. Oh, hopefully we'll cross paths too in real life.
I was gonna say collab, baby. That's amazing.
Collab.
I love that. Collab. I love that. Averie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your candor for coming on to the show. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise.